Welcome and hello. Hello and welcome. Welcome and hello, hello and welcome. Let me just greet you. Let me say welcome and hello. And let me just flip that right on its head and say hello and welcome because it works equally well both ways. Hello and welcome. Welcome and hello, hello and welcome, guys. I am sipping weak tea, pondering what the hell's going on with this stock run here. Um, People sort of go, hey Danny, you're just a big fat idiot. How do you make so much money in the stock market year after year? How do you continuously, get so lucky? And I don't know. I guess for me, I just see when extreme dips are manufactured bullshit and I go in heavy and then I have a pretty good sense, for when rallies are going to peter out. And you can look at a few things. You can look at the volume. You can look at how much they're shorting from the top versus how much they shorted from the bottom and the middle. You can look at expected retracement and how volume behaves when something is retracing versus when something is selling off from a sort of a pump and dump situation. I guess I'm kind of like a fatter version of AI, like an older, fatter, antiquated version of AI, because the world has been feeding me data, much like it's been feeding me hoagies, for my entire life. One fortunate, one less fortunate, but I've just watched so many setups, so many hundreds, so many thousands. I've been a stock junkie. Like this is my addiction. I'm not doing meth, obviously. Um, so I've just watched millions and millions of charts, probably trillions of candles, thousands of setups, millions of setups, and in my mind, I just have a sense of how these things are going to behave, and in my opinion, I tend to be right more than anybody else I've ever seen. Um, that doesn't mean a damn thing, It really doesn't mean a damn thing, because you're only as good as your latest call, and Neo's been one of those where people are like, "Hey, I'm a bag holder. This is never going to move." It's just you're just wrong. Like sometimes they walk a stock down for years. They did it to Microsoft. They did it to Amazon. I mean, that was a totally different thing. Those businesses were in their infancy and they were sort of new, and it was like everybody sort of questioned whether those industries even existed or were going to exist. I don't think the market understood companies like that. That's neither here nor there. The point is, they can walk down a company for a long, long time. Now, you could argue this walk down has been very, very defined since January 2022. So you're talking 3.5 years. The algo has been working on this, been, inside a nice wedge here. You could also turn this on its head, this way and make it look nice and clean there too. And then what you have here in about, 17 months ago is essentially the stock just bottomed out, because this is what you're looking for, because you don't have to hit somebody over the head with a hammer to understand that the stock is not going to go down below zero, because this stock is not going bankrupt, because they can get money from any number of, Chinese state level authorities. They can get money from any number of, Middle Eastern governments, private equity, not private equity, I saw sovereign wealth funds and all that different stuff. So it's very obvious to me that the Chinese state wants Nio to become a big company and to become successful so they can control, the battery standard. You control the battery standard, you control the power standard. You control the power standard, you control so many things. It's like, I know it's sort of hyperbolic and exaggerating, but imagine being able to grab control of gasoline, of oil, of power, of the means of production. You have storage, you have generation. I mean, Nio swaps in and of themselves are going to be power generation, power storage. They're going to be microgrids in developing places. It's like, I think the Chinese government has a very long way of thinking. They're not necessarily in a rush. They just, want to win in the end. And I think Nio is part of that strategy. The Chinese government is very, very active in, developing persuasive sort of sway in the developing world, whether it's Latin America, Africa. I mean, I think, the Middle East, I think battery swap plays into that almost better than anything because, fast charge, smash charge, if you don't have a grid at all, what good does it do you? What difference does it make if you charge in 30 minutes or 6 minutes? There's no plug. There's no plug. You can fast charge these nuts. And I think that's another huge thing is sorry for sort of the stream of consciousness, guys. I'm really, really tired. I was up right around 4 a.m. sipping weak tea, as I noted. Oh, it's weak. Oh, it's so weak. I can make some of the weakest tea. You'd think you were just drinking warm water. And you might be. It's an invisible tea bag. Oh, I've been fooled before with the tea bagging. Totally different situation. Fraternity prank. Do you have your balls in my mouth? No, it's just a prank. I love pranks where they're like, they go up and just hit somebody over the head with a 2x4 in a Home Depot. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, man. It's a prank. Go in the hood and just like threaten to shoot somebody and guy almost kills you. Like, oh, it's a prank. Like some dude got shot in like a mall. He was trying to pick up like an Uber order or something. And, the guy who shot him, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but some other guy was doing like a prank. He was like, you want to touch my wiener? He kept like crowding the guy, kept like running up on him. And the dude just pulls out a gun and just shot him in the abdomen. And they asked the guy like, oh, are you going to stop doing this? He's like, nah, I just got shot. Like no big deal. Worth it for like TikTok clout. I have zero TikTok clout. Fat Gronk. Yeah, I love Fat Gronk. You don't have enough fat tight ends. I want to see like a 380-pound tight end just coming over the middle, like 5'8". Butterbean. See Butterbean coming out of the end. Anyway, guys, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but just let me give you example. What do you guys notice? Just look at the redness. Okay, just look at the daily. What do you notice? Okay, look at the end. There's a few bigger red candles, but all the areas where there's volume is green, even on a red day. So on a day today that's red, there is more buying than selling institutionally. I guess, well, then how do they drive the price down? It's price fixing. It's hammer candles. It's a zipper job. Their algorithm is able to do it. It's able to identify areas where the bid and ask is weak. There's very few shares on the order book, and they could wipe out the whole order book by fixing the bid and the ask all at once on off times. Those are the hammer candles. The rest of the time, those are these turds. That's where you see a little bit of red volume. But this whole period here, look, all these candles, only thing you see is green. All through here. All the way through here. And yes, there's red on this walk down, to be sure. I'm not saying there's no red. But you're like, well, sideways, it's selling. It's not selling off. Listen, guys, let me tell you something about retail. Because if there's several things I know, it's being stubborn and being stupid. Okay, I got kicked in the head by a mule when I was 4 years old. And ever since then, I've been a stock picking genius. But I've been chunky. Not an easy trade. But anyway, so what was I talking about? I can't remember. I was 4 years old. Somebody help me out here. Let me get me. Oh, not a lurker's here. The great not a lurker. Where's my not a lurker hat? Hold on. I don't know where my not a lurker hat is. Sorry, premium the option. I was wearing my Nio hat because I was trying to talk about Nio. But you see, guys, all the volume coming in here is green. You see that on the 5-day. A lot of the volume coming in here is green. It doesn't matter where you zoom. See on this run, the bulk, and as you'd expect when a stock is going up, it's going to be green. But I implore you, take a look at the volume, because the bears want to represent that they're still in charge and they're still price fixing with this zipper job. And, to a degree, they still are. I mean, they definitely still are. The stock's down 10 cents today. It was up in Hong Kong, so it was rather unexpected. But notice what's happening today, guys. Borrowed change minus 13 million shares. Live short interest minus 7 million shares. That's the most I've ever seen them cover and return off loan in one day. And why? Because cost to borrow max hitting 8-9%. Cost to borrow average is hitting 7%. And they still have over 400 million shares on loan. So just the price going up that dollar from 350 to 450, and now, knocking on the back door of $5, knocking on the old balloon knot, no, haven't clicked yet, like your uncle who's in a bowling league. You guys ever had an ice cold beer? Ice cold, you know what I mean? Ice cold. Yeah, you mean like really, really cold. No, ice cold. Like Lucky and King of the Hill, Tom Petty character. Rest in peace. What a great character. Got me my PP money. Never have to work another day in my life. $58,000. Anyway, I wish I slipped on PP in a Megalomart. Have a big, pretty truck. Be dating a Luann platter. No, I wouldn't want to. Still want to be with Princess J. But I would have a big truck to compensate for my tiny wiener. That would be great. Do you guys with huge trucks find that it does help your tiny wiener? I would think, honestly, it would be a detriment because you're really like, if you drive like a nice economy car, if you're actually comparing the scale, by comparison, your wiener is bigger. That giant truck just makes your tiny wiener look minuscule. Oh, why does this show always wind up right in the crotch area? Yeah, totally. Two brothers. Rest in peace, Hulkster. Man, I loved that. Those, we'd go down. We were little kids, and if our mom was, incapacitated in some way, our dad might let us, get a pizza and rent one of those like WrestleMania tapes. Dude, I must have, rented those like those early WrestleManias like 50 times, dude. Professional wrestling is like, it's Americana. I think for a lot of kids, it's unfortunately or fortunately much more formative than other organized sports used to be. Of course, now it's like, everything is like UFC. I don't know, guys. I mean, I don't have anything against them. I mean, these people are incredible athletes, incredible skill, dedication, discipline. And I guess there's no real reason it's worse to be a professional fighter than a professional, basketball player or whatnot. Or it just, I don't know. I guess it's like a weird thing to me because I used to box and I enjoy it. And I like watching, fight sports, but I live in an area where it's like super, super like UFC heavy and sort of the Gracies started and stuff. And a lot of these guys, like I was a bouncer for a lot of these guys are just off. They're like the real guys who really train and really do it and are really dedicated. They're all totally, cool guys, have a good vibe. They're not looking to start trouble, but it's sort of the beginner guys who maybe have like a little bit of experience and they're just got a total chip on their shoulder. They're like, hey, I'm going to beat the shit out of that fat bouncer. Like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's see if we can get him in an arm lock. I'm like, dude, do you know you've had like 20 shots and you can't even stand up? And you're going to take some wild swing at me and I'm just going to step very slowly to the side and you're going to hit your head on the brick wall, knock yourself out cold. Like, people really don't get what, they're going to take a swing at somebody after like 20 shots. It's not going to work. Can't even, your entire upper body will completely, your center of mass will quickly exceed your base of support. And, big tree fall hard. You just move out of the way. I don't know why I thought of that. I got punched so many times. Mostly you don't see them coming, but drunk people hit very, very light. Never really hurts that much. Hey, excuse me, did your sister just punch me in the back of the head? Tell her it didn't hurt. I'm fine. Looks like she ran off. Oh no, that was you. I'm sorry, sir. Could you please leave? I don't like a sucker punch to the head, as pathetic as it was. What was I talking about? I have no idea. Um, a few more things. Let's see. So, institutional ownership. This isn't a big deal, but it really looks like it might have bottomed out here because you had a big increase and then another slight increase. And I know it's very splitting hairs because it's pretty much right at the same level. But institutional ownership's pretty much the highest it's been, for the last like 8 months. So we're a long ways from stepping up back to this level, but more is good. I mean, it's been honestly going down, for look at when the algo took over, guys. I just showed you on the chart that the algo took over, in 2022, January 2022, basically took over completely. And what do you see? That's the height of the institutional ownership because the institutions all knew what was coming. They all know the walk down is coming. And the walk down goes all the way to here. And then what do you see when they're going to flip it and the shorts are going to become long and it starts to go up? You're going to see the institutions buy back in because they know what's happening. I keep saying, teach someone to fish. All you have to do is follow the smart money. Look at what Vanguard is doing. Look at what BlackRock is doing. Look at what Morgan Fudley is doing. Look at what UBS is doing. Look at what State Street is doing. Look at what on the short side, there's Citadel, there's others. Jane Street, Wolverine, Susquehanna. Watch them flip, and the stock is going to go up. Is just they're the ones keeping it down. And Vanguard and BlackRock and all those others I just listed, they're very happy to let the price down, accumulate all the shares they want at these lows from impatient, tiny weighing retail investors such as yourselves. And that's just how this game is played. If you dump at the lows, if you sell the dip and smell the rip, you're always going to lose. How do you identify deep value, guys? How do you identify deep value? I mean, this is the way, because I was trying to say earlier, how do I look at setups? And I was talking, about charts, about institutional ownership, about shorts, about volume, about all sorts of different factors that I use to identify sort of my fallen angel stocks, which are stocks that actually, if you look more deeply beyond the surface, management has actually been executing in preparation for future growth. So they're doing hard foundational work that doesn't necessarily appear positively on the books right away. It might, in fact, appear negatively on the books because you're investing in the future. Now, if you know what you're looking at, that's not a negative. That's what I was looking at with SoFi. I'm like, guys, this company's only a couple years old. They're integrating all these different companies that had no relationship with each other, three, relatively big companies on the tech side. Everybody wants, they're like, we're not even seeing any revenues. It's been like 4 years, 5 years since they integrate. I'm like, that's in dog years, that's infancy. In corporation years, just barely the ink's drying on all the contracts. I mean, and that's what I'm talking about with spotting deep value and doing this foundational work. It's mindset. Okay, it's Anthony Noto is thinking, how do I make SoFi a giant financial institution, a top 10 financial institution 20, 30 years down the road? How do I make us, a competitor with, Chase and those type of companies in 50 years? I think that's where his mindset is. It's in long term, it's in legacy, it's in building this sort of deep shareholder value for people who are willing to see it and people who are willing to take the ride and people who are willing to buy those lows with them at 5 and 550 and 450 time and time again, like me and Payush were. That's how you identify deep value. And I see the same type of mindset with Nio. Nio's mindset is like SoFi's, it's customer centric. It's what is better for the customer. Battery swap is better for the customer, but that's not all. Battery swap is also better for the government. It's better for the power grid. It's better for the environment. It's better for everybody. It just, I mean, it's a superior solution to a fixed battery. There's very few negatives you can point to with it. And that's why CATL wants to own the power business. That's why they keep investing. That's why the founder was buying in deeper into Muratery. Everybody wants a piece of Nio's power business. Why is that? What else was I going to show you guys? I showed you this before. These filings are from May, so we're bound to see new filings, I guess, in August. Obviously, 3 months later, the next quarter. I'm get a sip of my weak tea, guys. Guys, let me tell you a secret. It's Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. Would like to thank the great Not a Lurker for moderating and producing the show here today, the best wrench in the industry, as you all know. Would like to thank the great vegan sympathizer for not yet attacking an official at a youth sports game. Vegan sympathizer is just something about that cap and those glasses, that sort of stubble. Just tells me the guy's been ejected from a few youth sports events. Just a little bit of a head. He said mild road rage. I don't know. I'm thinking moderate road rage. Thinking a guy keeps a tire iron or maybe one of those souvenir mini bats on the seat, just in case he has to go after somebody, in case he perceives a slight in traffic. No, I'm sure he's actually a good guy. Very good guy. Just prone to outrageous acts of violence. Yeah, she had it coming. No, I'm totally joking. Like he would have beat a nun or something like that. I just like road rage it's so sometimes I'm drawn to these like YouTube montages of like road rage getting like payback, where like the road rager gets immediately pulled over. And why is that such a feeling of satisfaction for me? I don't know. Stuff I watch on YouTube is just idiotic. I love First Amendment auditors. I just love these guys. So I get the point. You definitely have constitutional right to like film and, film police officers, or basically it's not even about that. You just have the right to film anything in public. There's no expectation of privacy. So anybody can film in public, but it's odd to me. Some of these guys, they're like so intense. Like I saw one with this guy, Long Island Audit. He's this like dude, and he's got this pretty sweet goatee, but I don't know. He got into this thing with this like state trooper or something, and then he came to the guy's house, and he got like a billboard truck, and he went to the guy's door, and the guy got a gun and like spit in his face. And I mean, it's crazy. I never seen anything like this in my life. They're like face to face. And this is all like over like a First Amendment audit, I guess. How he like, I don't know. I'm not sure what it was all about, but the policeman seemed like a complete psychopath. But the guy seemed off too, but I don't know. Because you never know. I mean, I guess it's about sorry to talk about First Amendment auditors, but dude, these guys, it's an interesting subculture and phenomenon, the First Amendment audit. It's not really an audit. I guess the audit part is like you're seeing what will the response be. So if you're just left alone, I guess that's ideal because you're not breaking the law. So what's you guys' positions on First Amendment audit? Yeah, Sean Paul Reyes, Long Island Audit. The guy, his thing is like he doesn't like necessarily film the police. He like walks into like say like a municipal office, like a parks department. And he goes into the door, like beyond the public lobby, and there's no signage. Like, sorry, you got to have the proper signage. There's no signage, so he just goes into the people's offices, like where they're working, like secretaries and whoever, accountants, and whoever works for the city. And he just like goes in their office and starts like filming papers on his desk. And they're like, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "What's a public area?" It's like, "Well, not really. It's my office." So it's like one of these things where it's like, okay, just because it's municipal, I guess, legally they have to hang up signs, but it's just very odd. Yeah, I have not had any coffee. It's cray. Great not a lurker checking on the bat phone. But yeah, so I don't know why I'm talking about First Amendment odds. So let's get back to Nio. But man, so those things can really suck you in if you're an insomniac and you're like, just tiring of like 72 hours straight of analyzing horrible stocks. But interestingly, okay, guys, these are older filings, but they're very telling because these trends don't tend to go slow. You can see this took a long time. It took, 4 years to walk this thing down. So they're going to flip it. That's the only way these walk downs work. Now, if it's a severe dump quickly, they can make that work on shock and awe. But this slow walk down, they have to pump it back because they've been shorting and dumping a lot of shares from, say, below 5. So they have to push this thing at least, back up to 750, not 10. But I think this stock is going to be worth an absolute ton someday because Nio is going to survive the bankruptcies and the consolidation because they have CATL, and CATL needs Nio to basically win the power war with BYD because BYD has this incredible low-cost car company attached to their batteries. So they have really an inherent advantage, because they have sort of, I guess, would it be vertical or horizontal integration? I guess if you're chubby, you have more horizontal integration. If you're slim and trim, tall, dark, and handsome, like not a lurker, I guess you have more of a vertical orientation. I have more of a YouTube orientation. Not a lurker has more of like a Instagram orientation. I got a YouTube oriented body, bit of a pear shape. Oh, as I get older, I hate fit people. I hate young people. I hate happy people. I hate attractive older people. I hate ugly young people. I hate short people. I ironically am starting to really get annoyed with fat people. Just stop pretending it's okay. Like it's a good thing. Like being fat sucks. You don't do so many of the things you want to do. It's like, just get out there and lose the weight. Instead of trying to convince yourself that you're happy being fat. It's like, no, I'm really happy just losing all my money in the stock market and working hard year after year to get poor. No, you're not. Don't be so circumspect. Don't be fucking zen about everything. Get angry about some stuff. Some shit ain't right. Sitting around man boobing for fun and profit. It's not all it's cracked up to be, these man boobs. Very few advantages. Oh, very few. In fact, none. Unless you're in sort of a mild car accident, your seatbelt on. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness I have these ample man boobs. Else I could have received a fracture to my sternum. Could have fractured my coccyx. Punctured my duodenum. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, guys, I'm even less focused than usual because I'm so tired. I'm trying to wake up with this fucking tea because Princess J and Not a Lurker have ordered me not to drink coffee, and this tea is so fucking weak. It's like weak to super weak. Like your portfolio is strong to quite strong, and my tea is weak to super weak. Excuse me, could I get a coffee, Mr. Tweak? Oh, these Harbucks bastards have really got my nuts in a cheese grater, I'll tell you. Guys, is this show making sense to anyone? There's 40 people watching this crap. Who are those two guys? One of the dude, is Douglas Smith here? Douglas. Who's that other dude? A couple of guys are like, we feel bad and Danny doesn't do a show. Well, here you go. You silly bastards. Matt GTP is here. Two brothers here. I'm not sure which one or both of them. Who knows? It's Ryan. Oh, shit, it's Ryan. Are you one of those guys that does those it's things and then you have a YouTube channel and you just go around doing like really boring shit? It's Ryan. I'm here at the miniatures convention. And let me tell you, we're here with the festival organizer, Marge. Marge, how many people do we have displaying miniatures here this weekend? Because I'm really excited. I've actually got a boner. Interview over. We've all been there, Ryan. I mean, it's not just you. We've all popped inappropriate wood at a miniature convention, I tell you. More times than I'd like to admit. Thanks, Rich LY. I think you posted that several hours before it started, but Bill Lee, he's going to get you that bill money. If it don't make dollars, don't make sense. Let's bring on these shorts like CATL. Yeah. So what I was going to talk about, UBS increasing 70%. Jane Street increasing their calls by 300% while only increasing their puts way, way less. I can't remember. Look down the line here, guys. Wolverine, one of the big shorts, slightly letting up. Susquehanna, not really going anywhere, but they're always a little bit late to the party, in my opinion. Bank of America, not one of the larger trading houses, but very, very influential, increasing their position by 110%. Look at their average cost. Look at UBS's average cost, all the way down to $5. Jane Street average cost $4.43. These people know what they're doing. They're not playing at $30, at $20. They're playing at $4 or $5. Okay, Citadel increasing their call by 45%. There's nobody more influential in there than Citadel in terms of leading the shorts. I said I showed you these before, but they're very, very telling. Citibank increasing their position by 434%. You don't think they know that this is flipping? Right here, look at when they're increasing. This is in Q2. This is Q2. So this is like right in here, right at the bottom of institutional ownership. And in my opinion, it's up from here. What's coming around the corner, guys? It ain't all waiting on you. That's vanity. I don't want to go out and face something I don't understand. Oh, like Anton Chigurh. So you see this right down the line. This is an absolutely perfect setup. Now, you don't have, my favorites right at the top yet, but believe me, they're going to get there. And I think BlackRock is in. Yeah, BlackRock is in here. They just increased on their last filing. They increased their position by 65%, and their average cost is $4.08. BlackRock is patient. BlackRock is smart. BlackRock knew the walk down is coming. They bide their time until the very bottom, until retail with their tiny wings and their short attention span and their limited bankrolls, and they got to eat. You retail. That's your major flaw, your big weaknesses. You got to eat. These institutions, they don't eat. They're algorithm based. You just feed them electricity and liquid cooling and they're good to go. Give them a mansion in Connecticut, a ton of cocaine. They'll be happy as a clam. So BlackRock increasing their position 65% with beautiful timing. State Street in there. And there's Jane again in their put. No, that's not their put. That's their shares. They got 2 million shares too. There's Citadel decreasing their shares, but they decreased their short as well. So I don't know. I love UBS up there at the top. It's going to provide stability. UBS is sort of a very conservative company. They're not, swing turding out there like some of these other turds. So the fact that they have this much confidence in Nio, where they're buying, 76 million shares and increasing their position, or 75 million, increasing their position 69.73%. Morgan Fudley, a bit of a decrease, but their average price was 14.2. So whoever's running that trading desk should be either fired or shot. Take them out behind the barn, shoot them. Sorry, our average cost is too high. Yeah, can I just resign? I guess so, yeah. Severance? No. Sick days? No. Can't do it. Anyway, beautiful setup with Nio. We were just early, guys. We were just premature. This is a good article. If you know juxtaposed ideas, this guy's really smart. Like, he's really smart, and this is really well written. So Nio's mass market strategy pays off richly. Growth risks remain. And I would encourage you to read this, but he's basically talking about valuation. He's talking about their pricing strategy. The diverse models they have, basically covering all ranges, that's great. And what they were missing was consolidating that sales structure, so you have more options, but you don't have all those additional costs, dragging down your books every quarter. And Nio took a while to figure that out, and that's okay. because they executed so well on the swap network. I think all those minor sins are going to be forgiven. Because the bottom line is, see, this is what I'm saying with the deep value. How do you find deep hidden value? The foundational hard work they've been doing for a long, long time. It shows a long-term mindset. And I'm reading my chicken scratch here, to become a giant company that will stand the test of time. I think William Lee's mindset is very much the same as Anthony Noto's mindset. And I see similarities in them. He's humble. He's tough. He almost smirks as a badge of honor when he is like belittled by the media, when the powers that be don't give him his propers, don't give him his respect. Noto's just like, whatever. I'm going to brush my shoulder off and I'm going to continue to execute and dominate and win like I have my entire life. William Lee, same thing. Guy might have a bit of an unfortunate haircut, but, I don't care about that. What was I talking about? So when you find that deep hidden value, I think CATL sees it. And listen, CATL's talking about all these partner cars, 10 cars, 10 years, all these cars building Choco. I think when the press releases die down and there's not so many cameras pointing at those CATL executives, I think they're going to be pushing some of the mid and high end toward the Nio Swap. And I think they're going to want to co-brand that as CATL. And I think they're going to, hopefully William Lee is going to make them pay through the nose to do it. Like the tax man, like Don Fanucci, just wants to wet his beak. Let William Lee wet his beak on some of that big CATL money, CATL. Sorry, guys. Who else we got? Who else is here? Let's see. The great not a lurker. Yes, I am man boobing for fun and profit. I can't walk with my tea. What do you want me to burn my genitals? What am I going to tuck the mug into my waistband? You haven't thought this through at all, not a lurker. Not a lurker trying to put me out of commission with a severe genital burn. Bad idea, sir. I'm surprised at you, frankly, J Money. That's the first bad idea he's ever had. Almost cost me a testicle. Oh, I'm going to have to regroup. So this is a really good article. Anyway, it's over on Seeking Alpha Juxtaposed Ideas. Reiterate his buy rating the fours. Talked about headwinds. Talked about tailwind. Talked about robust June deliveries, 25,000 units. Give or take a couple. Excellent utilization rate indeed, nearing a healthy 70 to 80% utilization rate. Except product utilization around for. I don't really know what that is, to be honest with you. I read this a little bit earlier, but I read it very, very quickly. They're talking about estimates. So this is looking really, really good. CAGR of 26.4%, according to the experts. 4-year historical growth profile at 62%. And you can see going through deliveries, but they to make these margins, they need to be selling at least 50,000 units a month. 31.1 was the most they ever sold in December 2024. And a lot of people, myself included, felt they cooked the books a little bit on that one, pulling cars that possibly should have been more directed toward January. Instead, they wanted to recognize those so they could basically meet their quota, which, is understandable. Ask the Wigger over at SMCI accounting department. Sometimes you got to meet a quota. You got to break a few eggs. Sometimes you can got to leave a few shells in the omelet. So anyway, pending delivery results July 2025, we old readers temper their near-term expectations. Indeed, he's basically saying the stock might be getting a little bit overbought. And I think, the conventional wisdom, that would be true, but I've never subscribed to the conventional wisdom or any form of wisdom for that matter. On the other hand, Nio's pre-sales for the recent, this is the key, guys. You're just losing. You're not seeing the forest for the trees because none of that stuff matters. The Envo L90 is a freaking beautiful car. Looks like an executive level car, something a rich family drive. It's under 30. It's $27,000 with battery as a service. Are you kidding me? And everybody uses battery as a service. Is Nio Stock a buy, sell, or hold? Well, you know where I come down on this. It's a buy. It's a buy. It's a buy. It's not financial advice, but it's a huge buy. So for now, Nio's similarly sound a floor in the 310 range. I said it's it kind of bottomed, and then it's had like 4 tests of that bottom. He's showing that on the chart down here, ever so more eloquently than old cornbread ever could. Even so, Niro appears to be on its way to overbought levels. So this is what I was remembering what I read before. Technical indicators, historical trends implying potential downward reversal in the near term, especially given the higher short interest volumes. I completely disagree with that. I think the short volumes make it much more dangerous in terms of a catalyst watch. Catalyst watch. Catalyst watch. Catalyst watch. Catalyst watch. Yeah, I don't know if any catalyst is coming. Probably not. But the L90 appeared to be a really big catalyst because this is a much better looking car than anybody's putting out. And this actually competes on price with the giants, Geely and BYD even. 27,000 for this vehicle. Come on. What a value proposition. And let's talk. You guys want to talk about something? You guys want to talk about something real? Nio is the only car company with a unique selling point, a real unique selling point. It's the only differentiator. None of these other companies, I don't care if they're Li, I don't care if they're XPEV, I don't care who, they're not going to be able to compete with these giants on price. GAC, JAC, Geely, BYD, there's others. Chang'an, you can't do it. They're already building millions and millions and millions of units. But the L90 is better than anything, in my opinion, XPEV has. It's better than anything Li has. It's more cost effective. It's definitely more user friendly. Why do you want to own a battery that's just immediately a depreciating asset when you can lower your out of pocket? It's a no brainer, guys. Swap is a no brainer. And I hate the phrase no brainer. Kind of reminds me of Yul Brynner. Magnificent Seven, great movie. It's like people that weren't really like Mexican, like white actors playing Mexican. Who are you? Where is your accent from? It's like, I'm from over the ridge. Why are you bald like not a lurker? It's just my look along with this black hat. Would you like me to throw a knife against the fence? No. I bet you guys weren't expecting a horrible Magnificent Seven bit. That had no point, no punchline, no humor, and really was not integrated into the show in any way that was coherent or believable. This show is terrible, guys. I got 0 stars on Google Maps. It just says turd. This is a turd lookout. If you look to the left, you'll see a fat turd. Oh, awesome. Yeah, what was I talking about? I don't know. So anyway, overbought levels. This is a valuation. So listen, consensus forward estimates above hold true. Nio remains compelling at forward sales of 0.9 compared to the 5-year mean of 6, sector median of 1.26. Based on current enterprise value of 11.27 billion, consensus fiscal year 2027 revenue estimates of 18.51 billion. The resultant fiscal year 2027 EV sales valuation approximately 0.6x. We believe that the automaker's high growth cadence remains attractively valued here. This is especially given the ongoing de-escalation of the trade war between U.S. and China, with positive sentiments likely well-balanced demand headwinds arising from suspended subsidies and still impacted consumer confidence index at blah, blah, blah. Let's see. So anyway, as a result of the materialization trading floor, treat valuations, growing demand for well-diversified EV offerings. So, he's kind of a tepid buy. It's not warm so much as tepid. It's just tepid. Another thing that I just kind of found interesting is Nio is kind of hitting that, I think, 100,000 swaps, basically 100,000 per day. They're right at 97,000 per day. And they just built their 800,000th car, which, by the way, is an Envo L90. I mean, I hope they learned their lesson with they I'm not gonna say they botched Firefly because it was never in the plan to, sort of make that an orphan swap vehicle that had no viable swap network and it's just a charge vehicle. And people still really like it and it's selling pretty well. I mean, if it worked on the swap network, it would sell out, before anything. But 100,000 swaps per day with only 800,000 vehicles that have ever been built, it's extraordinary. Every single car on average is swapping almost every single week. People love swap. That is the USP. It's the only USP. It's the only differentiator. It's the only thing that lets CATL fight against BYD's world domination of power, because BYD is going everywhere. BYD is going into all these countries. CATL needs to head them off at the pass. No, don't pick Bruce Valanche for the block. Pick William Lee for the block. Pick William Lee for the win. Nio for the win. I'll take this if life were Hollywood Squares, guys. If everything was Bruce Valanche. That guy had great hair. Looked like a Dutch doll. Anyway, so we're talking 100,000 swaps a day. Here's my contention. CATL is going to have to push cars onto the Nio Swap standard. That's why they want to own the majority of it. So it'll be, in fact, the CATL swap standard. They just want to basically hijack all the work that Nio's done over the last 10 years rather than do the work themselves. Because I think they know this is a Herculean effort. And they're like, oh, we're just going to build this over 10 years. Yeah, sure. It's easy to say. But right now, CATL's network is vapor. CATL's network does not exist. Where are they going to put these cars? The government going to let them sell these cars as swappable all over China when there is no network? There's no swap network. How many swaps does CATL have on their Choco? It's like choking up on a bat, more like choking up on a flaccid wang. CATL's swap network is a flaccid wang. It's no good to anybody. Oh, I mean, it's a bunch of bullshit. CATL is going to take O'Neill's network. That's their move. That's what they want to do. This Choco, it's a bunch of schematics and drawings and bullshit. The Choco batteries look like those, amplifiers we used to build like bass boxes out of when we were kids in our shitty cars. Kind of heat sink coming off of that thing. Oh, 2 Chocos. Yeah, sure. What is this, a Twix bar? I'm going to shove 2 batteries down my pants and hope for the best? What am I going to hook up some electrical leads to my assy nipples? What kind of show is this? Frank Rizzo, open your fucking ears, jackass. Oh, we're not that kind of shop. We don't even pull prices here. Maybe I could dial it back, just choke the guy a little bit. Hey, you buy this fucking car, I'll break your fucking head. Oh, I miss the Jerky Boys. Touchtone Terrorist, Jim Florentine. Jim Florentine let me put my brother on the phone. It's got to be the stupidest goddamn thing I've ever heard in my life, but just one of the funniest. If you can sit through Let Me Put My Brother on the Phone by Jim Florentine, I commend you. I don't make anything off of that. Yeah, I don't think anybody's really worried about Tesla. I think Tesla has reached its peak and then is over the hill and coasting in China. That's my honest opinion. I don't think Tesla's all that anymore. I think Tesla's yesterday's news. I mean, I'm not like relishing in that fact. I have a lot of Tesla. Oh, I still believe in Tesla. It's just not as a car company in China. They were never a car company. Cars are a commodity. They're a robotics company. They're a software company. They're a power company. They're a chip company. They're an AI company. And I think Nio could be a lot of those things too. Not necessarily the robots, but I think the power, the chips. I think Nio's smart because they're kind of staying in their lane and playing a little bit. They're not doing the flying cars. They're not doing the dancing robots. They want to sell you chips. That's a commodity. You can make money on every chip. You don't necessarily need a bunch of fanfare. You need revenue. You need a tight haircut that doesn't cost any money. Make it high and tight. I don't have time. I'm trying to run a huge company called Nio. The ticker symbol is NIO. The show is Un Poco Mas. We try to give you just a little bit more. Let's check what's going on at Car News China. I have no idea. There's the news again. 800,000 solid state battery miles away. Nio's already trying to do like a semi-solid state. Nio cancels lifetime battery for some early adopters policy abuse. I guess they had sold that car and it was like second, third owner, and they were using this thing for like, you know, ride sharing and taxi cab and everything. And they're like swapping every five minutes, or at least that's what Nio tried to say they were doing. Probably a bunch of bullshit, but who knows? Don't sue me. They sue everybody who says anything. I don't know. I don't know anything. Allegedly. Don't blame me. The price of this L90 is amazing. I mean, this is a beautiful vehicle. Beautiful vehicle. That last Envo looked like a mix between a horny toad, a Pontiac Aztec, and a, you know, business end of a butt crack. Horrible car. I don't know. I know it's a brilliantly engineered car and it did so many things and it was amazing, but it was ugly. Nobody wants to drive an ugly car unless you're Walter White. Walter White's the only person in the history of the world that looked good in a Pontiac Aztec. Pre-sales July 10. They're already doing pre-sales. It's through the roof. I mean, it's not going to be show me the money, as Cuba Gooding Jr. used to say. Nio's Firefly launches battery as a service rental plan. What the hell does that mean? How are they even doing battery as a service? They even have a swap? I got to click on this. I don't, by the way, guys, I don't prep for this show. That wasn't totally obvious. Virgin today announced introduction of battery as a service, battery rental purchase plan. Fireflies reduces starting price by 30%. 11,000 US dollars. See, they're becoming competitive with some of these very inexpensive models, even by BYD. Firefly first launch April 19. We got customers, Zizai edition, Fingung edition, rental service, reduction of vehicle's price. I don't think there really is a swap. I think they're just lowering the price so they sell more, basically. So the monthly battery rental fee is $55. Brand identity, visual stem, original design, particularly crafted by Chris Thomason, Senior Vice President of Design at Nio, American Experience Industrial Designer, BMW Ford. So what the hell? I don't know. What is this talking about? This is just basically a commercial for Firefly, but does it tell you what's exactly happening with this battery? Okay, that was a big waste of time. Anyway, so yeah, after hours, I don't know what this turd did. So it's up a big penny to 484, 4 on the floor. This is actually no problem, guys. I mean, you expect a certain amount of retracement. I mean, this stock came off of $3.40. It touched $3.38 on, what is this? 7/8. So July 8th. This has only been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days to the peak. And then, 2 days of retracement, basically. 10. So we're talking 12 trading days, moving off of 340, touching, what is this, 520? And then retracing back to 483. This is very healthy. This, retraced here, it touched, 428. Next day came all the way back down to 395. It's no big deal. I mean, of course, all of us would like to see stocks just go up and up and up every single day. But in the real world, that's not how it works, because there's so many people trading, taking profits. There's so much influence from options. There's so many things, so many forces at play pushing and pulling on Nio. It's just one of those chosen stocks. It's beyond one of the chosen stocks. This walkout, it's like, what was that guy, Lil Yachty? Greatest walkout of all time. I'm telling you, you can't sleep. You guys are clicking around YouTube. Watch anything. Name a badge number. I want to speak with a supervisor. You are the supervisor? I am the manager? You are the Karen? Yes, I am the Karen. Oh, I have no idea. Would you also cover the decreased CRISPR bar? Yeah, CRISPR borrow rate was down to about 6. It was as high as 50. The 50 was an extreme reaction to that run. Everybody, there was no shares to be had. Nobody could spare a square. 6 is still very, very high for where it was. And I'm telling you, if the Bulls start pushing again, the Bulls don't want to push from right here. At least not hard, not right now. I mean, OPEX tomorrow, I don't expect fireworks. I expect everything to get pushed down again, to be honest. But you don't really know. I mean, if Trump says something about, not hitting so hard on the tariffs or so, that's going to send the market skyward. Like he can send the market up or down anytime he wants. So I scratching his balls. I scratch my balls this way, it's going up. I scratch my balls this way, it's going down. Guy can he's got the markets on a string worldwide. So it's a lot of power. A lot of power. But you got to play the game. I mean, if you know he's going to move the market violently, you got to be prepared. And you got to have some dry powder. You can't be fully invested right now. It's just not with this degree of volatility. I mean, but hell, when you look at what Nio's been doing, for quite a long time, this is a hell of a move. And this is sustained volume. What did you see here? Do you notice you see one pump, the volume comes way up here to 162 million. The next day it just falls way off to 87 and all the way back down to 38. The last time you saw sort of sustained big candles was way back here when the stock, pumped up to like 750 or whatever the hell it was, 771, I guess. But what you're seeing here is you see volume go up on the pump and then it remains high. I mean, here is 74 million. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in the last, 12 trading days where the stock's trading 75 to 85 million shares. And then you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days where the stock's trading, over 100 million shares. So this is sustained volume on this run up. You did not see this at all back in March. You saw one pump, one big pump. And that's it. Old Johnny one pump. Never gets past the first date. I don't know why. But if you think this is the same as this is not at all. Volume is still coming in strong. I mean, they're having to retail is not taking profits here. I don't think. Most of our averages are not green by any means. Most of us are still holding our Apple bag, still icing that bad boy down, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? But we haven't seen even this. Even if you look at this is more of a pump and dump. You just see volume go up and then it comes right back down. Now it's a lot of volume and there's making a market up here at $7. There's plenty of willing and able buyers at 7. But what you're seeing here is different. You're seeing institutions. That's the only way this volume stays high like this for 12 days. And it stays very, very high. You notice how this is consistent? Half the days are down here. This one is 78 million. So half the days are down here around 75 million. And then, the other half the days are up here 120 million, 115 million. This is again 133 million. So sustained volume. That's one of the things you want to watch for. Shorts starting to flip. That's another thing you want to watch for. Vanguard, BlackRock accumulating. In this case, I'll take UBS. Buying the stock like their life depended on it, like their, chonies are on fire. I see all the signs with Nio. This thing's rumbling, stumbling, fumbling. So the long-term mindset, finding deep value, you have to be patient. You have to go in heavy at the bottom. I mean, look at the smart money who makes the most money at the end of the year trading, whether it's, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, Vanguard. They're going to have the best averages. They're going to be patient. They're going to go in low. They're going to wait for that little yachty walk down. What else was I going to say? Yeah, and we're coming close, to profit. I mean, that's critical. You notice when that happened with SoFi, it wasn't that long after they made their first profit that the stock, tripled. And these are the same shorts as were on SoFi, and they're the same longs that were on SoFi. Vanguard, BlackRock, added up. These guys run the world. CATL, like I said, is going to push others to join the swap. I mean, what alternative does CATL have? Because they're advocating, they keep pushing the importance of battery swap, but they don't have a battery swap network. And you'd think you'd be seeing news every single day. CATL opens another 5 Choco stations. Choco your chicken right here in 3 to 5 minutes. Where is it? I don't even think that's their plan. I think that's their plan to just basically take a CATL sticker and put it over the Nio logo and call it a day. Why are we going to duplicate 10 years of hard work when we can just come in at the last second, steal your homework? That's what I said. Like, Nio's the pig that built its house out of bricks, and now CATL wants to come in and cohabitate. They want to be our roommate. They're like, hey, you built this beautiful house out of bricks. We notice there's wolves outside eating our kind. You mind if we crash here for a while? F you, pay me. Cross my palm with gold. You guys are brimming. You guys are doing like 45% of the battery installs worldwide there, Chumpy. Listen, Chemo Slobby. Cut me a check, redneck. I don't know why redneck. Only just idiotic rhyme. The brain of a 2-year-old. I think I'm losing my voice. Already lost my mind. What's next to go? Hope it's my man boobs. Where would I be without you? Nothing like man boobs to keep you humble. Get that pickup basketball game. Just pray to God you're not a skin. Shirt, skins. I gotta go to the bathroom. Yeah. Keep that shirt on in the pool. Just man boobing. Man boobing from a very young age where you're merely a boy. That's a lot of responsibility. Youngster like yourself, man boobing at such a young age. Taking care of the whole family. I don't want to do my Sam Elliott impression where he threatens a young child, telling him dinner's ready. You get out of this barn. I'm going to break your head open with that axle. Like, I'm sorry, Mr. Elliott. Boy, you got a short fuse. Great mustache, though. Boy, I said get, before I shoot you in the back with this Remington 44. Oh, you're so melodramatic. Shut the fuck. What'd you say, boy? Anyway, this show's freaking terrible. I got to bail. I've been talking for like an hour. I don't think I said absolutely anything useful. Been a complete turd salad, but just look at these volume indicators, guys. This is absolutely different than really anything I've seen since maybe in here when the stock went to like 1750. I mean, there's been a few other times you saw green come in kind of here. Like I said, a little bit here, but this looks just different. The way this is sort of making a shoulder, drawing a horizontal line with the volume indicators, it just tells me the algo is up to something. It tells me smart money is up to something completely different than last time I saw this shoulder was kind of in this area, in this sell-off. What I mean by a shoulder is just, it's probably misusing the term, but just where the chart forms sort of a horizontal line, coming off of a different level. Imagine just, I don't know what else to call it. A step, whatever. But this is like 2 steps in one. And I haven't seen this where it's like alternating between 75 million, 130 million, just depending on what they want to do that day. And believe me, I follow this stock day to day, intimately. So, I lock down the honeymoon suite and I just go over Nio charts like, oh. No, not really. I don't get aroused by EVs. Not that big a fanboy. Oh, Tesla. Oh, napkin mouth. Oh. Dude, what are these guys? Like some of these guys that were telling like Tesla's going to be like 20,000 by now. These guys have no shame. The bologna sandwich, like, everybody's defaulting. SoFi's going to 3. Or the exact opposite. Or anyway, guys. Yeah. So that was about it. Electric BYD trucks, Mexican plates. Yeah, they're selling a bunch of trucks in Australia. I think the Shark. Yeah, that BYD truck is incredible. It's very low price point. I think I saw them test that on the Fast Lane trucks. Those guys out of like Denver who do all the truck reviews. They used to have that Russian dude who I really used to like. I'm sure he's still there, but now it's like the dude and his wacky son. I don't know about all these sons. Like, what? Come on. It's like, dude, the sit and sleep guy. You're killing me, Larry. Now I got to deal with the son. And he's no prize. He's a little bit, a face for radio, as they say. But you hand the, just because you got a successful YouTube channel doesn't necessarily mean I want to hear from your fucking kid. Fuck your kid. Who else got me? One of my favorite electronic scooter review shows. They had, Rainier, and they had, other guys. And now I got to deal with the son, the guy, the founder's kid all the time, Paul's kid. Paul's bald like not a lurker. I love the guy. He used to be an auto racing guy. Now he's my go-to guy on scooters. But I honestly prefer Jeffrey, Jimmy Chang, and Andrew over at Freshly Charged. I mean, those guys are my scooter guys because they tell you the good and the bad. So if you're looking for a scooter, I mean, I love scooters. I love e-scooters. I know it's kind of funny to see a big fat guy riding around on an e-scooter, but dude, those things are totally free. I don't pay for any gas, parking, none of that. Like, hey, look at that old fat guy on the e-scooter. Yeah, drink it in. Drink it in, Chuckles. Because I'll tell you something. When you're down at the AAA, maybe you're down fast charging your Tesla. Maybe you're filling up your Range Rover with about, $180 worth of Supreme unleaded. I'm just cruising by, getting a little air in my hair, letting it flow. Like Matt Flow. Don't sub and like. Don't bring your friends. I hate your friends. If they're anything like you, they're probably totally obnoxious. Please don't bring them. Not a lurker for some reason wants to grow this channel, but this channel sucks. It's not his fault. He does a great job. Problem is I'm a turd, and a fat turd at that, which is one of the worst kinds. Yeah, where the hell is Birdie? It's a good question, Mr. Premium the Option. Are you at like a hot air balloon festival? What's that growing out of your head? I can't tell. My eyes are not that good. Yul Brenner, very nice. Matt GTP, can always count on him. The battery is the limiting factor for EV. Once the battery goes, that's the car. Yeah, I mean, that's the gist of it, Matt. It's not only that, but you can put a swap almost anywhere, especially with solar panels. I mean, I just think swap is going to be so big throughout the world. I think swap, I'm not saying it's going to replace charging or anything, but even if it garners, even if Nio Swap Network can get like 10% of the global market in EV, think about the scope of that. It's going to be, but I think they can do a lot better than that with CATL pushing this thing forward. Because right now, CATL is having a knife fight with BYD with one hand tied behind their back because they don't have a car company. Yes, they can sell to all the other car companies, but so can BYD. And BYD has all this, engineering and all these other things. This is synergies going on with their car side that, the power side is greater than the sum of its parts. So if they want to, CATL wants to take on the likes of Tesla, wants to take on the likes of BYD, they have to somehow glom us on to Nio. They have to sidle up to old William Lee. Hey, I was in line here earlier. Like when? Before the thing about the place. Can I cut in? Yeah, I guess. You're so pathetic. Hate you. Anyway, guys. Yeah, they will never take your freedom, not a lurker, that's for sure. Remake of the Seven Samurai. You guys got a whole thing going on here. Let's see. Definitely don't sub and like. LOL. 5,000 pound koi fish. I don't know how you grow 5,000 pound koi fish. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got today. I can't talk anymore. I am too stupid. So thank you for joining me. I would like to thank, of course, the great Princess J, greatest, absolute greatest, for tolerating me, keeping me alive, and just just generally taking care of me. I certainly don't deserve it. And I would like to thank Not a Lurker, J Money. I would like to thank Alberto Berti Avilés, wherever he might be traveling right now in parts unknown. Same place the Ultimate Warrior is from. Rest in peace, guys. Thank you so much. It's Un Poco Moss. My name is Cornbread, and I'm moist, I'm doughy, and I crumble under pressure. I'm out, guys. Thanks so much, and appreciate you guys watching. By the way, those people who have us really, it makes me feel so awkward when people say nice things about me. I really can't stand myself. I absolutely hate myself. I hate being around myself. I know that, but I'm a comedian, guys. That's just, we all have that. You know, that's the reason we're talking. That's the reason we're making jokes, because we just can't fucking stand ourselves. We just, can I be in anyone else's skin? Like, walk a mile in my shoes. Like, I'd love to. I got fat feet, swollen ankles. You walk a mile in my shoes. Believe me, you'll be taking back this Judge Reinhold, Dudley Coleman body swap, faster than 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, you useless sack of shit. Anyway, guys, thank you. It's been the honor of my life. Un poco más. Just a little bit more.